Hello, hello. My name is Adrienne Ortiz, and I will take you along with me as I reflect on many of my assignments throughout my ADL program. And I will share my screen and we can get started. So I wanted to first take you through my first two courses where it was 5302, which is concepts of educational technology, as well as 5305. 53, I believe both of these were such great courses to start with. I think specifically to me, one was creating my innovation plan, and the other was a lot of self-reflection, which I think is both equally important. So we were required to do a growth mindset plan, and our reading was The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. And we were able to create this growth mindset plan. And I will say this growth mindset plan not only has impacted my life, but also my students. I took my growth mindset plan and actually applied it to my classroom where students have opportunities to reflect, make changes to whatever mindset they're in at the moment, talk us through, and seeing themselves in their education journey and knowing that failure is not the end all be all. I definitely had to a lot to learn from this course, and I think it really impacted my students as well. And most importantly, one of my favorite assignments was my learning manifesto. And as simple as the assignment may be to you, just looking at it, it took me a long time to complete my learning manifesto. I think it took a lot of deep reflection and understanding my core beliefs and my intents about learning. And we will move on to 5305. And I absolutely love this course. If I could just go through the screen, this is where I had just an idea, and it was the beginning stages to see my innovation plan flourish to what it is today. And it is still ongoing, but I'm looking back at this and I just want to hug it because I just think this was just a great course to start. So in this innovation plan, I had to create an innovation proposal where I asked my principal and provided some brief evidence to support my innovation plan, which is creating an after-school STEAM program for 3rd through 5th graders. As well as support my innovation proposal and my innovation plan with my literature review, which has a lot of my research that I did with it and I conducted, as well as a brief implementation outline to see how I plan to execute my after school STEAM program and the stages and things like that, as well as my annotated blib. And this is ongoing. As I find more research, I add to my bibliography. So I cannot say any more great things about these first two components of our program. And I also learned, school aside, how to create my website, figure out my name, blendedmindset.com, as well as play with buttons and learning how to navigate my WordPress website, which was a big milestone for me. And definitely the growth mindset was in it the whole part of the way, because at first I wanted to give up immediately, but now it's a piece of cake. I feel like I could do it in my sleep, which I never thought I'd be able to say before. So as we move on to our next set of courses, we have 5304, which is leading organizational change. I will say, out of all of my courses, I feel that this was very impactful in the sense that I struggle with being a leader, not necessarily the fact that if I can't do it, but getting people on board. And that's where you learn throughout this course how to start with your heart and figuring out your why, as well as how to influence others and how to become an influencer yourself. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a Instagram influencer, but definitely just steps to how to move your innovation plan forward. So with this course, we were required to read our influencer book and figure out your strategies for part A and part B, looking at your desired result, what behaviors that you will need, how will you measure that, as well as support that with the 4 disciplines of execution and how to install 4DX and making changes in your organization. And I briefly said it is not easy to make change. Change makes people feel uncomfortable, of course. But how are we going to take all of that and I guess use it for a benefit rather than not? So again, I took the 4 disciplines of execution with the 5 stages of change and was able to create a plan on how to execute my innovation plan. So we move on to our crucial conversations. And this was a monumental moment for me and my growth in becoming a leader. Because it all starts with having a great leader. And I learned that you will see so many things fail because people and organizations don't feel supported. I could arguably say that's one of the main things. And learning how to be a leader, and I guess the science that goes behind being a great leader. If you're gonna want change, if you want change to happen in your organization, what do you have to do as a leader to make sure that your goals and everybody is on board to follow your change? And throughout every single course, we do have to address the contributions to our learning community, and I will address that at the very end. So then we have our next course, which was creating significant learning environments. And I absolutely loved this course. We were required to read A New Culture of Learning, Cultivating the Imagination for a World of Constant Change. And I loved this read. I want to say it was my favorite, tied with Growth Mindset, but this was very just eye-opening in the sense of classrooms, education is changing. So are we going to go with it or are we going to stand against it? And the answer is definitely go with it. That's the best way to support these students and how to adapt in order to do so. So we take a look at our learning environments, learning that learning just doesn't take place in the classroom. We're learning all the time. How to facilitate a positive learning environment and inspire students to take ownership of their learning. And that's where creating significant learning environments and COVA are going hand in hand because they do go together. And different ways that students can learn through play and imagination. And when I first took this course, you would think play as in, role play. I immediately go to pre-K, working at in the beginning stages of a daycare. But learning through play can happen as an adult, role-playing activities. For higher education, and as well as peer-to-peer learning, collaboration. And that is a big fundamental for my innovation plan, a STEAM after-school learning program where collaboration is one of the core fundamentals of how students and how we learn. So we briefly touch on our challenges and how we plan on impacting our organization through that. So I really enjoyed this course. And then we get to 5317. And I know I just said I really loved that course. I really loved 5317 as well, resources, digital, and digital environments. That's when we were able to create a publication and find some publications that we would submit to. So I picked Learning Forward, TCEA, and Education Week, and we were able to create our publication. I chose mine to be about tablet, in which everything still is aligning for our innovation plan. Padlet cannot say so many good things about it. Not only is it fostering collaboration, it's fostering reflection, it's fostering leadership, and I was able to create also a media pitch with my classmate, Valerie. And this assignment was so fun in the sense of we were able to dabble with making a mock-ish podcast, and just I got to know more about Valerie's innovation plan, and she got to know more about my innovation plan. I think this was just, if not the funnest assignment that we had throughout this program, in my opinion, and reflect on our final publication. And I briefly touched base on this earlier in my last course, but I really wanted to touch base on the 4DX portion of it for our after-school STEAM program and these stages of that. And I wanted to say they both go hand in hand with each other. Influencer is learning how to make those changes and what you need to do to make those changes and become an influencer on your organization. And the 4 disciplines of execution is supporting the influencer strategy, if that makes sense. So as I will stop sharing, I navigate through the last 2 courses. This is very bittersweet, almost bitter in the sense of I honestly want to keep going because I really loved this program a lot. But the most important thing was after every single course, we were able to reflect on our contributions to others. So not only it had me take ownership relating back to COVA of my assignments, but also ownership in the sense of I'm helping others as well. I feel that responsibility, but in a great way to share my feed forward with others. So we reflect on our contributions and things like that. So I thank you for being a part of this learning journey for me. Although it is not over, I am an ongoing learner for the rest of my life. I am so thankful to be a part of this program. Thank you.